We'd like to do at this point is have a little look at some of the success stories and have our panelists share those stories. I was also posed with some questions on the back of some of the conversations that we've had thus far today. Join us, yes. He's got the important job of judging as well. But if I can just start with Fernando, head of partnerships. Again, inclusion in sports, and I think, I start with you because obviously we had a very successful Women's World Cup, and then obviously leading into Tokyo 2020 with the Olympics and Paralympic Games, for which obviously Visa is a major partner. If you just want to give us some insight into one or both of those.
So, for those of you who have not met, my name is Fernando, I work at Visa. I spent a lot of time activating not just the FIFA World Cup as well as the Olympics with my colleagues at Visa, but also spent a lot of time activating with my clients, hundreds of banks, hundreds of merchants across the region. So, Women's World Cup this year, I think, was a tremendous success. It was a tremendous success for us. I would like to say we did fantastically. We did a lot better than 4 years ago. We activated it in like 10 countries with 10 clients, which was 10 times more than we had 4 years ago. So I still think we should have done a lot more than we've done. I think the women's game is growing tremendously. We have many accolades, but one of the most proud accolades that I have at Visa is that we are the biggest sponsor in the world of women's football. So I'm really proud of that. And I would like to, obviously, US and Europe carry the brunt of that, but I would like to bring that to Asia as well. When it comes to the Paralympics, it's really refreshing that if any of you right now goes to Japan, just to see how the Olympics and the Paralympic Games are being promoted side by side by all the sponsors, which is a first for me, so it's been really, really refreshing as well. And we're doing the same thing, we're just catching the wave and doing the same thing, trying to promote both events together.
And just moving to Fernando's left, Almudena Gomez Benito, with La Liga Global Network in the Philippines. I believe La Liga, obviously, we see all the jerseys and the success that you're having at this stage. And you were involved with La Liga, the global network that was developed, particularly here in the Philippines. La Liga Genuine Project. Please, do share.
Welcome to everyone. Thank you for having me here. And well, I think we all agree that sports, in my case, football is a recognized agent to community, bring it back to society. So as a professional league, we work together with our clubs to bring back to society what it gives us. And although we have different social projects here in Asia, one of the successful cases that we've seen recently is the Liga Genuine project. We developed a football league that is composed of teams with players with intellectual disabilities. We are the first league in the world to have this type of league. It started in 2017. One of our clubs, Nastic, pitched the idea of developing this type of league. They already have a club with players with intellectual disabilities. And in La Liga, through the Liga Foundation, we started to develop and work on the idea. 6 more teams joined the idea to give a format of the competition. And we started the first season 2017 with 18 clubs. And we have just kicked off the third season and we've doubled the number of clubs. We already have 36 La Liga clubs that have representatives with one team in La Liga Genuine. And in the end, this is a way for us to engage with our fans, but not only with our fans, because this type of stories have a more motivational factors. We can reach a wider audience, in creating fitness stories that also let us engage with our partners. So apart from doubling the number of clubs, really good clubs that wanted to join this project, we've engaged more partners that wanted to collaborate with us at La Liga Genuine. And not only we give them the space to collaborate or activate, they're also committed to enrich the project. So for example, La Liga Santander, which is our main sponsor, has committed also to give the scholarships to these players. Or another of our sponsors for La Liga Genuine, Telepizza, which is a pizza food chain in Spain, has committed also to employ at least one player from each of the clubs. So it's a way to keep building on inclusion and in terms of the sports in the society.
I'm going to stay on the football for just a moment with Dr. Anna who's the CEO of Excel Solutions. In particular, the education and awareness and your experience with the AFC in the past, when we talk about inclusivity in a region that's very, very diverse.
Thank you. As you well mentioned that my working experience with the AFC for the last almost 18 years before I resigned a year ago. When we talk about inclusiveness, we use a different approach where we use inclusive spectrum. Meaning is, inclusive spectrum means that it is activity-based approach. So when we have activity-based approach, that attracts the sponsors. Because sponsors need to have engagement. When the sponsors indicate what they want when they give a certain amount of money to activate a program, that needs to be respected as well. And also, with that in mind, then we cultivate or calculate the activities in a very strategic way where the ROI is met. So in that sense, when we talk about inclusiveness, it's not only about disability, but also marginalized community and also victims of disaster and so on. So it is a wide range of spectrum when we talk about inclusiveness in sports. That is the approach that we use in the AFC. But most of the time, when we talk about inclusiveness, many people only indicate the disabilities. But then here we have a different approach, where inclusive means all type of community who are victims of certain matters or certain issues. So that's how we have used our experience in the AFC and also considering the sponsors' interests.
Right. And I think the term, and it probably applies well for the Special Olympics, it's differently abled. It's not necessarily disabled, but differently abled. Roche Vandenberg, Vice President, Head of Marketing for FWD Life Insurance. Again, their involvement with the Special Olympics, the United Schools and Athlete Leadership Program. So I believe the two of you have had some interaction, and it was different. It was interesting here that you've also already pointed out the relationship between kind of the rights holder and the sponsors, of which we have two here.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Rosh from FWD Life Philippines. So I've been FWD actually started in the business 5 years ago here in the country. And our vision is to change the way people feel about insurance. For community care in particular, with our partnership with Special Olympics, our vision is to empower people to live fulfilled lives. So actually, when Jericho was presenting on stage, I kind of relived the experience I had. I joined them in Abu Dhabi, and I would say that the experience, witnessing the sheer determination of the athletes was really beyond compare. It's different when you show it on video, but when you're there, the excitement is really palpable. In terms of the programs that we have, so we started our partnership with Special Olympics early last year. And this is across all the markets that we have in Asia Pacific. So, because we are a pan-Asian insurer, we have two specific programs. One is the Unified Games, Unified Schools, which is technically a workshop / games combined with attended by people with intellectual disabilities as well as people without intellectual disabilities. So the objective really right there is to actually encourage understanding between the two groups and foster camaraderie. The other one, so for that program, we are supporting about 12,000 students, youth. The other program that we have is the leadership, mentoring. So we have committed to mentor 300 athlete leaders, wherein our goal is to really ensure that they are skilled, to ensure that they can in their daily lives as well as in the work that they have.
Jericho, we're leading on to that again, just following on to
Yes, so it's actually a very good collaboration between us and FWD as our main sponsor. It's not just about them providing to us the CSR thing, but of course, them, the employees, since they're engaged with us, they really feel how to be involved, how to be, embraced. It's kind of a people around us that's just about having to play with, kids without disabilities, but also playing with kids with intellectual disabilities. As we are trying to expand the program, we also have this kind of a unified project where kids with disabilities, with intellectual disabilities, should actually play without the intellectual disabilities, so they can feel each other. So that's how we started this partnership with that
Actually, I'd just like to add to that. So what Jericho said was actually correct. It really went beyond, it started with community care, but what it did to us as an organization really opened up the eyes. So it became like the door to the organization being more inclusive, raising the topic of inclusion and diversity in the organization.
how do you, and these are again general questions to our panelists, so feel free to jump in, but how do you address inclusivity in a region as diverse as Asia? You have cultural, language, religion, across whether it's China, India, Southeast Asia, as far as Australia, New Zealand, if we're talking about Asia Pacific. Localized strategy, how do you address it across the spectrum that we face in Asia?
Can have a go. Obviously, it's impossible to harmonize a continent like Asia, so we kind of look at particular key streams. We look at streams like, for example, women, equal pay. We actually don't discriminate between women and men in the way we hire our athletes to represent Team Visa on the build-up to the Olympic Games. So we probably have more women than we have men, but that's just purely because we don't discriminate. Neither we do reverse discrimination. Just they happen to be quite good representatives of the sport in the nation. We gather around, for example, the Paralympics, right? It's a key theme across all countries. We give an example. We have a program that we're expanding here in Asia that we are going to hire people to come and work at Visa. But in one case, in the job description, you would have to be an ex-Olympian athlete to apply for it. In the other case, you have to be an ex-Paralympian athlete. So it's something that we're trying to bring to our business as usual, and not as to be seen as a sort of a CSR activity, just integrating it as part of our business as usual. We do a lot of financial inclusion, we do a lot of financial education, so this is just another program we do.
Yeah, I think promoting inclusion is quite a tough job for us, especially intellectual disability disabled person are actually the most isolated in the world. So it's really very tough. But all of us can play different roles, important role in promoting inclusion, just like what we had in Singapore, where the government is actually the key player. Just recently, Singapore government just launched an agenda called Inclusive Playground, where they're actually encouraging Singaporeans to really go out when they have the kids with intellectual disabilities to really blend them with kids without intellectual disabilities. And so what they technically did was they have built a lot of playgrounds for kids, especially for kids with intellectual disabilities. So I think it's more of local policies that should be, demonstrating and promoting the inclusion part of the sport.
In terms of, my experience with the AFC, when we talk about the strategy to use inclusiveness when we implement a program, for example, I can give some classic examples how we work in certain part of the world in Asia. Okay, for example, as you well mentioned that Asia is well diversified and diversified culture, approach, language, and so on. Just name it, thousands of languages spoken in Asia alone. For example, in 2014, when Philippines was hit by Yolanda typhoon, so I was sent to Philippines to identify how AFC can help Philippines to what we call to assist in terms of renovating the sports facilities. So I visited Tacloban Center. When I went there, they don't need sports facilities. What they need is shelter, food, medicine. So I came back with a different idea, different approach, and we worked closely with Gawad one of the renowned NGO in Philippines, and they came up with the excellent idea: let's build a village for them, build houses for them in a very cost-effective way. So we did that, and now we have around 200 community living in that AFC village. But inclusive here, why I'm addressing here is, when we go into a country, we need to have a strong NGO who knows the culture. So it goes to in every part of Asia, because they have a different type of environment, different political scenario and so on. So we have worked in 47 countries in Asia, and we use the same approach. When you approach a country, make sure that you have a partner, local partner, smart partnership need to be taken place. So we need to have a local guy who understands the local language, local culture, local politics, to make sure that we can execute the program in a well manner. So this is one of the approaches that we use.
I'll just add on to that. So in our organization, it's really about, we started with awareness, and when we say awareness, because again, we kind of position ourselves as not the ordinary insurer, it's really extreme awareness. For example, for the past 3 years, we are the title sponsor of the North Pole Marathon. So that's why it's called the FWD North Pole Marathon. So a lot of people might ask, why the hell North Pole? So why not, right? So the part of inclusion there is that, especially in 2018, two of our runners, marathon runners, actually are people with disability. One from Singapore, his name is Sharif. He's a para-athlete. So they call him in Singapore the Blade Runner. So he went, he ran for us. The other one is a person visually impaired from Hong Kong, Gary. So them together with the FWD team actually traversed the North Pole, 42 kilometers of 4.2 times 10 loop in minus 40 degrees environment. So you can just imagine that for people without disability, it's kind of difficult enough. What more with people without with intellectual or physical disability? But it just goes to show that we are, as an organization, we really take it to heart. It's awareness, and then awareness done the FWD way.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add to what he said. We are totally agree, especially for a brand like the Liga International Club. When we come to this part of the world, we are very present here in the Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, all over the Asia. We need to choose the right partner to develop a social project, either with a community with intellectual disabilities, or just natural disaster being affected. We need to make sure that they have basic needs covered, and then we can just add to that community through sport. And not only providing know-how or social coaches or football coaches or developing a specific football project, but also adding a brand like La Liga to that community, to that project, gives them visibility, and also is a step towards normalizing the situation of that community.
I think the next question kind of builds on that. I think every organization at the moment is being questioned around the topic of diversity, inclusivity, sustainability, innovation. and the question that's being asked is how do you measure your success as it pertains to the ultimate success of your business? So whether it's FWD, it's ultimately its lowest common denominator. It's about selling insurance or financial transactions, or in some cases, how are you providing a platform for the Special Olympics or La Liga for them to achieve their business objectives? So again, how do you ultimately measure that success, or is it beyond just talking the talk? And is there the potential to actually, or are businesses willing to compromise their business objectives in order to kind of tick the diversity, the inclusion, the sustainability box? Tougher question.
Yeah, for the Liga, it depends on the strategy we follow in each of the markets. So, especially here in the Asia Pacific region, the social projects allow us to engage our sports fans to get to understand better the community or the needs of the fans of the markets where we are already based in. It is a different approach to get to them also, apart from giving back to the community. So in the end, it depends on our strategy in each of the markets. So we can measure it in terms of the visibility of brand awareness, but also in terms of the impact that this specific project has had in the community, in the country, in terms of media, but more specifically in terms of the community, the impact that it really had in the community.
Okay, yeah, so for FWD, I would say, as mentioned earlier, it's really about awareness, but I would define awareness into two ways this time around. So first would be, we're taking, so of course, inclusion and diversity is a very big topic, right? So we're taking it one step at a time. It's not just coming up with sporadic activities and that's it. So for example, one, I would say, brave move that the company did was in terms of our policy for we call it Works for Me. So part of the Works for Me policy of our human resources is that it gives all employees X number of days to actually spend it to pursue their advocacy. So whether it's towards inclusion or towards understanding more of diversity. So that's good because usually we only have annual leaves, sick leaves. But this time around, it's part of the policy, we have X number of days. So aside from that as well, so as you all know, when you talk about coverage, specifically for a business, it's not easy for insurance companies to cover risks such as people with disability, right? So internally, we're working on that to actually provide people with disability, whether it's physical or mental, to have that sort of coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really very important because at the end of the day, we're still the beneficiary of whatever sponsorship that we had, especially like we had for FWD. But it's a bit of a challenge for us as a charity in the past because companies now are shifting their plans towards not just giving money. They most often the trend now is they would just give some time, some donation in kind, but they are trying to get out of giving out money. So I mean that's the thing. But in terms of measuring the impact, it's on us, as the money that we had, that they had donated to us, how we transform lives of kids with intellectual disabilities at the end of the day.
And I'd just like to point out that I think Visa were very consistent with our brand promise that if you have a Visa product in your hand, you accept it everywhere. So it's the same thing for everyone. So we have internal and external objectives. Internally, diversity inclusion is a key topic in our employment engagement survey. So we need to make sure that regardless of gender, religion, intellectual capability, etc., everyone feels that they're part of the same company and everyone is really proud to work at Visa. So we measure that every year. Externally, it's really how do we make a person with certain restrictions have a normal life. And I was having this conversation with the International Paralympic Committee, and I just didn't realize how, for example, when in Korea we created a lot of wearables that allow people to pay contactless, how positively impact that was having on people that have no arms. If you're trying to pay for something, having a wearable that allows them to make a payment contactless changes their life and allows them to make a normal life, or to make something normal of what is for you to be a normal day-to-day activity, but a very abnormal thing for personal limitations. So how do we make and integrate these people to have a normal life?
Okay, again, I'll talk about in perspective of AFC experience. How do we measure impact? Just an example, for example, we also do lots of football for blind, for cerebral palsy, autism, special olympic, work closely with special olympics and so on. So usually what we have, how do we study the impact? Alright, the question here is, I think probably I throw the question to the audience. Okay, disabled body and able body, who should understand who? The able body should understand the disabled. That is the most important thing in terms of awareness or education. So who do you educate? Are you going to spend your time to educate the disabled body or able body? So AFC did that the other side. We approached and we educated the able body, able children in schools to understand the disabled children. So we did the impact study on the able students, the normal students. How do they respect the disability? How do you look at ability in disabilities? Okay, don't focus on disabilities. Just focus on the abilities of the disabilities. Look at the ability of the blind boy. How does he play football? Can he play football as a blind boy? You can't. Not even 5 seconds. But these guys are blind for life and they still can play football. You know, they still can play football at the Paralympic, winning goals. Where the normal guys can't. So this is how we do our impact studies, and we actually measure the impact among the able body rather than disabled body. But then when it comes to the disabled side, how do we measure the impact? Then we sit with the association or the NGOs. We calculate the amount of time they use, the participation of the parents in terms of the awareness among the parents. We do lots of impact study on the parents, how they can bring out the disabled children and showcase the children's ability among the able children. So this is where we spend a lot of time when it comes to impact measurements.
I mean, I'm asking the questions here, but I'm actually equally asked these same questions. You know, and I was asked recently, you know, there's obviously a merger at the moment between sports, fashion, music, and technology, and during a conversation regarding diversity, the question was asked, is there the potential for reverse discrimination? Or are you willing to compromise the end goals of your organization for the sake of inclusivity? Now, I mean, how do you answer a question like that? You know, I said, well, you know, in my case, I say it's definitely a work in progress, and I pose the question to you. I mean, is there the potential? You know, in our last panel, we could say, oh, there's an organization and it's primarily women, but should they be hiring more men? And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong here, but it was a very valid question that came, you know, in a very setting very similar to this. So I pose the question to the panel here, you know, are you willing to compromise the end goal for the sake of inclusivity? Is there the potential for reverse discrimination?
I don't think it's a question of compromising the end goal. I think it's a question that if we have to work harder to get to the end goal, I think we're prepared to do it. At the end, if it's not normal now, it will be normal in 10 years or 20 years ago. What was abnormal then, it's now normal. So it's how it may be a little bit more difficult, a bit more work, more resources, but I think if it's seen as a positive change and still reaching our business objectives, we're happy to make the extra mile, the extra effort.
Well, in the sense of a company like the Liga, of course, I mean, we are not compromising on our goals. We are working toward achieving that goal, like what he was saying. And if we take the example of women in football, it could seem that it's not such an appealing industry for women, but in the case of the Liga, it's a matter of bidding for talent. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're talented enough, you will get a position in a company like the Liga. And what we need to do is to give more visibility to women in an industry like football, so it became more and more appealing to all women to join.
Yeah, so at our organization, the journey is still very early at this point in time. But we are cognizant that, of course, if you want to be inclusive, you have to make sure as well that you don't exclude the majority, right? So it's a very, I would say at this point in time, it's not the easiest place to be in, but what I'm really sure of is that this is the time that we have to do it, because there's no, if we talk about diversity and inclusion, for example, or inclusion for that matter, a few years ago, it's not even in the visibility of the top execs. So now that it has the full support of not just the executive committee or even the board of directors, it's much easier to actually implement. But what's important as well, even though we talk about helicopter, for example, messaging, what's important is that we have to really, at least in our organization, what we do, we have to talk to the managers who actually have the power to hire directly the people. Because through them, they have to understand what the program is all about, how far we can go as an organization to support inclusivity. And through them as well, they can raise the voice to the management team and say, okay, I don't understand this part, please enlighten me more.
I think, again, I'm speaking about being a beneficiary of things that we getting from our sponsors. So most of the time when we do a pitch, we always make sure that we are aligned with the agenda of the partners. So long that we are in sync, we provide mutual benefits to each other. I think that's more important.
I think it was interesting. In a previous role, I was recently involved in tennis, and there's a conversation around the WTA and the ATP possibly merging or doing more together. And the reality is that the WTA, well, there's the empowerment, the diversity, and the inclusion message. But in reality, their story is stronger than the men's game at the moment. So we countered by saying, in fact, that's not something you want to do. It is a separate and equal proposition. And as well, if you look at sailing, for instance, during the last edition of the Global Ocean Race, you had an all-women's team competing equally against the men, and that's an ambition that we share with SailGP, is to have an all-female team. I've been given the signal to wrap up, but before we do that, I'm just going to ask each of you again, just a word of advice, a recommendation, just a closing word for everyone, because again, we're all here to learn from the success stories that you just shared. So why don't we start on the end with Jericho?
I think for me, working with international organizations, so long as your heart is there, your passion is there, so long as you can help others and see them transform their lives, even from the small scale, and see them grow. It's really very important that at the end of the day, it's not just about me working in the company. It's just about me seeing people changing their lives. How would I, demonstrate that I also have the ability to transform their lives as well? I think that's most really important, and that will include inclusion as well.
Rocky?
So as I've mentioned earlier, so what's really important for us, or specifically at least for the individuals that make up FWD Life Insurance, is that we have to be true to our vision for inclusivity, which is to empower people to live fulfilled lives. There might not be too many, this is just a master framework. There's no hard and tested rules. We're in the start of a journey. And as an organization who is very new in the industry, 5 years, we are very much in the learning phase, and at the same time, so it's a test and learn as we evolve in our business. I think we just need to be really focused on what we want to get out of this. And for us, at the core of it is to provide coverage for the people with disability.
In a company like the Liga, we make sure we work towards inclusion and diversity within the organization, and we're looking for developing social projects in any part of the world. We look for the right partner to make sure they are aligned with these objectives. And in the end, working with grassroots, with kids in different communities all over Asia, we also want to make the situation normal, talk about the community, the whole community where they are, and make sure that they have an aspiration that works and keep dreaming to develop themselves and empower themselves.
From us, actually, I'd like to ask just one question to the audience before I go. Who has seen a live football match? Right, can you please just raise your hand if you have seen a live football match? Okay. Can you raise your hand if you've seen a women's football match live? Okay, probably a quarter of the people. I think for us, it's like, obviously in the US, we made a big point that when we started sponsoring the US soccer team, male and female, we made sure that 50% was for male, 50% was for female team. It's probably the only country where the female team is more popular than the male team anyway. But outside of the US, it's really to challenge ourselves, even if we have to work harder, to spend more time in the office, spend more time with our clients, convince them to come and work with us. It's worth it. It still meets your business objectives, and more makes me go back at home and feel more happy with myself because I was part of the change, and the change for good. So that's how I'd like to challenge everyone to be part of that change as well.
Yeah, going back to the what we call it, disabled group, disabled children or disabled youth. I think the most important thing, I think I need to talk about two things. Number one, look at the abilities inside the disabled community. So with that, you can come up with plenty of activities where you can engage the sponsors. Sponsors like emotional filled activities. Emotional does sell, right? It is marketing, because I'm talking about based on my experience. It sponsors like emotional filled community engagement. It creates a wave and creates lots of influence. So we need to come up with plenty of creativeness when it comes to a program engagement or activation. So I think with that in mind, I think we can have a sound projects or sound activations for disabled children or disabled community.
Right. With that, I'd like to thank the five of you for joining us in Chamber Insight, and for the audience for joining us in the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tori. Well done, panel.